no, it's been really fun. Again, like we said, 2 weeks ago, we thought this was a done deal. I bought the tickets for Vegas, and then it got a little sweaty under the collar. It got a little tight there for a second, thinking, wow, go to that Utah game. That Utah game was just absolute blowout, one of the worst games we've seen in the Cristobal era. And it was the question of could you rebuild Humpty Dumpty after he fell off the wall? And they did a really good job coming into this rivalry game where the Bees were a hot team. The Bees were a really controlled running game, good, efficient offense with pretty solid defense that had beat Utah earlier in the year handily. And now here we are in this game where you need to win this game to even get to Vegas. A lot of Duck fans had bought already tickets to Vegas. We were not excited to go watch the Cougs play that game. So this was a game Oregon had to have. They got up early, and it was a blowout from the jump. Again, blowout in the Mario Cristobal era of the Ducks is basically a 2-touchdown win. So if you get a 2-touchdown win, it feels like it's a blowout. They came back in garbage time, scored 20 points in the fourth, and it got wild in that thing. There was some fights going on. The refs were not controlling the game at the end of the thing, and the crowd was hot. I mean, this was the first Civil War since COVID, right? The rivalry game out here gets pretty hot, like it does everywhere. But there was a lot of anticipation for this game, especially after the Ducks lost last year during the COVID. So I think the Ducks feeling pretty good about things going into this thing. And I think it's going to be hard for Utah to win 2 games in 3 weeks against the same team.
And that's the question right there, because you would think, okay, same teams, they get together a couple weeks later, maybe a different venue, but we see it all over in the NFL and in college football where most of the time turns out to be a completely different type game, a little bit different style, score turned on its head. I don't know why that is necessarily. Nobody can really quantify it. Nobody's really given me any metrics to know, okay, what is the trend here? But it just, in recollection, just doesn't seem like it typically turns out to be the same game. So Utah wins by 31 the first round, but who knows what we're going to get this time around. But hopefully for Ducks fans and Anthony Brown that showed up against Oregon State.
Yeah, I think you can see a better game. Again, I've been telling Duck fans this whole time, hey, this game you start 0-0. You don't start this game 31-7 or whatever that score was, right? So it's just, I coached basketball for years. I played basketball all the way through the AAU circuit where you have these tournaments where you see these teams, they just absolutely blown out on a Friday night or a Saturday, turn around on a Sunday, literally one day later, play the exact same team again, and it's completely a reversal. I mean, I've seen it in my own eyes, coached against it, played it with it. It's a wild scenario. And I would love to see somebody try to do some sort of study on that because, they've tried to do all sorts of studies about when a player gets hot, what happens when that happens, psychologically or metaphorically or metaphysically. I don't even know where they're going to go with it half the time, but this is one of these test cases where Utah absolutely drilled Oregon 2 weeks ago in their building, senior night. They're hyped up for the thing. They've got everything circled on this calendar for them. They're absolutely juiced up. And this Utah team, you cannot count these guys out. This is a strong team. Whittingham, one of the best coaches in the Pac-12. They've got a very solid program there that had a little hiccup earlier in the year, but has really rebounded since they put Cam Rising in there. This guy looks very good. They look very competent. And again, the 1-game playoff in a neutral setting, in a bowl setting, this could be a game where Oregon comes out there and plays very well. We've seen this in the Cristobal era. They played very well against USC last year, and they played very well against Utah in the last Pac-12 championship that I was at in Santa Clara, a rainy Santa Clara stadium. This is going to be very different. Las Vegas is going to be very fun, the brand new Allegiant Stadium. And I think the Duck fans are going to represent down there. I think this thing, when it kicks off, has a chance to kind of go the distance and be close and be at least the game that we wanted to see 2 weeks ago instead of that aberration.
Yeah, it's a minimal tenure for Mario Cristobal at this point, but he's off to a great postseason career at this point at Oregon with a Rose Bowl win, a Fiesta Bowl win, and the 2 games that you just mentioned in the Pac-12 championship game. So if the Ducks can get him to a championship type game, bowl game, postseason game, he's delivered 4 for 4 thus far.